There we are. Hello, YouTube. Sorry about that. My printer stopped working right when I was going to print my notes, which was very annoying. It's back now, but it meant sitting here for 7 minutes going as it's slowly rebooting. So sorry. I was ready. I print my notes right before the show and there is late breaking news about the court cases. So I was waiting for that to print my notes, and it's still the judge is still reading her opinion. So we don't quite know what she ruled. I'm trying to find out about Portland and Chicago especially. All right, I think we're pretty good here. I'm going to keep the same name on my TikTok live. All right, let's see if there we go. One moment. All right. Hang on, guys. I don't even know what that is, but we're going to find out. All right. Okay. Starting TikTok. Okay. We're good now. Whew. That was not fun. All right. Anyway, I'm back. Sorry. Like I said, things just weren't working. All right. Hello, TikTok. Here we go. There we go. Now we're all here. All right. Like I said, that was not totally fun, except now I've got to pull up my browser and see what the latest is on this court case. Hey, guys, I was following the judge in Chicago, and she's reading her decision still. We're 20 minutes into this of her reading her decision. Okay. Still waiting to see. All right. Well, we don't know yet. All right. Sorry, the Chicago case is a couple different. Oh, God. I'll pick this one up because it's possibly her. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sorry. Just kidding. Sorry. Not yet. Not yet. Love you. Not yet. I wasn't sure if it was the new squeaky. It was the new squeaky. I got the dog. I was like, no, I don't need her to be perked up into yay, play mode. Anyway, yes, the judge for Chicago is hearing the case, and we don't know yet what the decision is or anything. So mirror the screen. Yep. Hang on. There we go. Oh, yeah, like I said, I was having that's a cool little gift there. Thank you, Carrie. Having all sorts of issues with my printer today because I was trying to get the decision from Chicago, so I was waiting to print, and it's still coming, actually, a Chicago decision. So I'm going to open my other screen here. Anyway, welcome, folks. It's funny. At first, I didn't think we have a lot of news today. Now I think we've got a lot of news today. A decent amount. Is more terrifying, just absolutely terrifying. But honestly, it shouldn't be terrifying. It should be pissing you off. The Trump dictator news just should really be pissing you off. All right, let me look here. I'm trying to see what the latest is on this court case. If by chance we get it here. All right, nothing yet on the court case. We shall see. So, lots of news. The U.S. is sending 200 troops to Israel to help support and monitor the Gaza ceasefire deal. That's great. That's great. All right, we're still waiting to see here. All right. All right, let's see. All right, anyway, hey, guys. So probably not a coffee talk on Saturday. Probably not, because I have something I've got to run and do Saturday morning, so I apologize. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, we're getting updates on the court case in Chicago. So there were court cases today, Chicago and Portland, Oregon, about Trump trying to put National Guard troops in both. The Chicago one, she's reading the decision right now. Judge Perry says she has seen no credible evidence that there is a danger of a rebellion in the state of Illinois. Good for her. Earlier in the day, a lawyer for the state argued that there was no rebellion in the Chicago area and that deploying the National Guard was unnecessary. That's good. I mean, that's good. Now, the thing is, the appeals courts in Oregon, the appeals court looks like it's agreeing with Trump. Thank you, Big Hawk. The judges have not issued their decision yet, but two Trump judges were fine with him, going all fascist. So that's not good. This case may be a little different. Trump indicted yet another political opponent today. Again, we are no longer a democracy. This is now I don't know if it's an autocracy. I don't even know what you'd call it exactly now. But it's fascist. Yeah, it's McCarthyite. We are a third world country at this point. We do not have a democracy anymore. Trump ordered 2 weeks ago, Trump ordered his attorney general to indict 3 people, 3 of his political opponents. 2 of them have now been indicted. Not just that, the 2 of them have been indicted were the former FBI director and a attorney general of New York who had gone after Trump. She went after Trump on the case where he lied about the amount of the value of his various buildings for loan applications, things like that. And Trump promised he was going to get her. He ordered his attorney general to get her indicted. He ordered his attorney general to get his FBI director indicted. She did. It's worse than that. The actual Justice Department officials in charge of this found that there wasn't enough evidence. There wasn't enough evidence to convict, to not even to convict, to get the indictment against Comey or James, the woman who they indicted today. So Trump got rid of the career guy who was there, the career prosecutor. He put in his own personal lawyer. And his own personal lawyer with 0 experience in prosecuting got indictments in each. Now, they're going to have a very good argument getting these thrown out. You are not allowed to indict for political reasons. Selective, or what was it? I've got it in my notes. Selective, or is it what's the other word? Selective indictment or vindictive prosecution. Selective or vindictive prosecution. You can't go after someone just because you want vengeance. The problem is, and the prosecutors were on TV today talking about this, former prosecutors, the problem is typically you don't have, people allege this all the time. They're just going after me for politics. They're going after me for vengeance. And typically you can't prove it. I mean, the guy on CNN was very funny. He said, usually you don't have a public posting saying explicitly, go after them because I don't like them. Thank you, Cheryl. And he goes, but in this case, you do. Thank you, Cheryl. You get a choice of goats, big goat, regular little goat, or Halloween little goat. Which one would that be? Sorry, Cheryl got our gift that gets the goat, the Galaxy gift. Halloween is the best, I will say. Halloween, okay, you get Halloween. We get our Halloween, which, and of course, appropriate since we're talking about Trump literally ending our democracy. Very appropriate. One more time. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate that. Keep the gifts coming, guys. So Trump, as you may know, wrote a social media post 2 weeks ago. We found out from the Wall Street Journal yesterday, Trump screwed up. Big surprise. He meant to send her a private message and he wrote it publicly. And he wrote his attorney general, totally illegal, wrote his attorney general a private message saying, indict these 3 people. And even better, it's embarrassing. They went after me. They went after me. It's embarrassing that we're not punishing them for going after me. So they're going to use that to, one hopes, get the indictments dropped because it's vindictive prosecution. Again, we cannot sit back and just watch this stuff. Now, there is a huge protest October 18th. Keep that in mind. Coming up, I'm going to be there. And you've got to keep speaking out. And you can't be afraid of speaking out. You can't be afraid of calling this what it is and calling them what they are. Because I've got more stories today. It is far worse today than it was yesterday. Like I said, in America, we don't prosecute our political opponents for no reason. And first of all, you don't prosecute them, period. Biden didn't. The Trump people love to say Biden did. Really? Then why is Donald Trump president today if Biden prosecuted him? Because if Biden prosecuted him, they would have started the investigation on day one, and they didn't. Because Biden said, it's up to my attorney general, and Biden's attorney general for 2 years went, it wouldn't be right, because even though Trump's a career criminal, it wouldn't be right to, investigate him because it would look bad. And he's right, it would look bad. But in Trump's case, he tried to violently overthrow the government, and we all watched it live. You can investigate that. When the sitting president tries to stay in office illegally and tries to violently overthrow the government, you're allowed to investigate that. When he steals classified information and refuses to return it, you can investigate that. By the way, you know who else Biden had investigated? His own son. Biden's own son was investigated. Now, of course, Biden didn't have any of these people investigated, but since they like to argue Biden did it, as long as it happened under Biden, okay, he had his own son. He had Democratic Senator Menendez investigated. Did Donald Trump do any of that? Donald Trump hasn't been going after Republicans, that's for sure. And Donald Trump's own son? Please, like that's ever going to happen, right? So this is pretty disgusting. Another disgusting article, equally scary, probably even more scary perhaps, equally, from Reuters today. The Trump administration has moved ahead with seeking terrorism charges against a number of leading Democratic groups. The groups that were mentioned in the article by Trump sources: Act Blue, Indivisible, which is a really good kind of down-home, grassroots, young people kind of organization, as milquetoast white bread as you can get, meaning just like wholesome as you can get. Okay? Act Blue, which is a Democratic fundraising website. That's it. It literally is tools for Democratic candidates and organizations to raise money. But Act Blue, they have to go after, because Act Blue is a fundraising juggernaut for Democrats, and the Republicans don't have anything similar. So they're trying to destroy the main fundraising mechanism for Democrats. Indivisible, I don't know why they want to go after Indivisible. Indivisible has power. You don't hear about them as much anymore, but they've got power. Soros, of course, Soros, billionaire funder, they're going after. And what they're doing, Stephen Miller, the German one in the White House, Stephen Miller has said he's running the whole thing. He's running the investigation of all of Trump's, all of the Democrats. These organizations are probably included, and they're going to investigate them as terrorists. They said they're going to use all the anti-terror organizations, the Department of Justice, the FBI, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, the tax agency, to go after these Democratic organizations as terrorists. Okay? Indivisible? Terrorists? Really? Act Blue? And their goal is, of course, their goal would be to throw them in prison forever as terrorists, of course. But at the very least, you have the Internal Revenue Service try to take away your tax status. You have the FBI, the Department of Justice raid your offices. Thank you for the gift there, Dave. Raid your offices and take your computers, right? You have the tax status, take away the computers. The legal cost could be hundreds of thousands of dollars for each of these organizations easily. The individuals, this is fascist. We've got to find a better. It is McCarthy, but it is not just McCarthy. It is fascist. We are no longer a democracy at this point. This is absolutely disgusting. Stephen Miller's running it. We got more quotes from him to give you today. Folks, this is, 5-alarm fire time. It's hard to tell you what to do, but at the very least, you need to go. If there's protests and things, you need to go. Again, there's one on the 18th. Go. Find out where it is. Go. In the comments, you guys can give people information on it. For starters, do that. That is what you can do at the very least if you're American and you're here in the States. Go to these protests on October 18th. Really disgusting. Just disgusting stuff. Oh, so some of the where was the I'm trying to find the other clips, some of the updates. Let me give you some more of the updates. Where's my pen? I like to have my pen when I talk to you. Where's my pen? Well, I can use this pen, I guess. Here it is. There's my other pen. I've got two other pens sitting here, but they're buried. I want to come back to this one. And I told you about that. A federal judge. Okay, good news today. A federal judge issued a restraining order barring the Department of Homeland Security using riot control weapons on members of the press, protesters, or religious practitioners who are not posing an immediate threat to the safety of law enforcement or others. This is the lawsuit where the reverend, the priest, among others, sued. Journalists sued. Remember, Trump's ICE fired into the car of a reporter. She had her window down. They fired into the car because she was driving by the ICE facility in Chicago. And she was driving by because she's a reporter, looking to see are there any protests going on. There were no protests. There were no protesters. They saw her drive by and look. They fired into her car with some kind of pepper shotgun thing, which exploded in her car. Mind you, a pepper bomb exploding in your car while you're driving at 30 miles an hour, that's real safe, right? 45 kilometers an hour and something explodes in your car. She could have killed somebody. They don't care. They shot a priest in the head. And this, I have to read to you. This blew my mind. The Tricia McLaughlin, one of the Trump administration assistant secretaries at Homeland Security. So she's a high up political appointee at Homeland Security. She specifically responded to this incident today about the priest they shot in the head. Let me sort of pull this up again. They shot him in the head with pepper spray, with a pepper spray bullet. It was very bad. I will show you briefly. He's this guy. You can see there, just sort of a brief little shot of it. She responded to that. I mean, it's a horrific image of this priest, and he was doing this priest thing. I forget what you guys call it. Priest something, right? Altar call or something. And they shoot him in the head with a pepper bullet. He survived, but he fell to the ground, obviously was injured. She explained yesterday why they shot the priest in the head. I think I have her exact quote here. Let me find this. Yeah, wait, where's the exact? Here we go. What this clipped video doesn't show, mind you, they shot a priest in the head, okay? What this clipped video doesn't show is that these agitators were blocking an ICE vehicle from leaving the federal facility, impeding operations, okay? In other words, they were doing civil disobedience. They were standing in the driveway, not letting the cars exit. Okay? Again, probably a crime, I'm guessing, impeding some federal whatever. But let's pretend. Now, Mia says it's not true. Let's pretend it is true, though. Let's pretend this is true. This is important, guys. Listen to me. Let's pretend that peaceful protesters are standing in a driveway so that a car can't leave. You don't get to shoot them in the head. That is not allowed under American law. Federal law enforcement doesn't get to shoot you in the head because you are practicing civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is when you peacefully interfere with a bad guy. You could be protesting outside a federal building. You could be lying across traffic or something. When you are peacefully protesting, they don't get to shoot you in the head. Literally, the only time they'd get to shoot you in the head is if you were about to shoot them in the head, right? But this woman, and literally, she goes, well, what they don't tell you is he was standing in the driveway. And I even tweeted back at her, I said, so you shot him in the head because he was standing in the driveway? Again, this is fascism. This is fascism. I mean, this is just, it's unbelievable. The governor of Oklahoma, a Republican, this is kind of wild. Thank you, Sarah, for the gift. Governor Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma. Now I got to get the dog in again. Sasha! Hey! Come on. Let's go. Let's go. I see you. Lots of crap on your face, too. Let's go. Hey! Jesus. Unbelievable. And of course, she's got more plants across her face. Seriously? Stay there. Stay there. Oh my God. Yeah. Exhibit A from her nose, a little flower. She goes out and she eats all the plants. Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma, Republican, chairman of the National Governors Association, criticized the deployment of Texas National Guard troops to Illinois as a violation of his belief in federalism and states' rights. First time a Republican governor has questioned the deployment. That's a big deal. Now, Governor Newsom of California had said he was withdrawing from the National Governors Association. He said if they did not speak out about this, he was withdrawing. California withdrawing would be a big deal. Would be a huge deal. Thank you for the corgi. Who just threw the corgi? Oh, that was Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for the corgi. So that's a big deal. That was good. The troops are also moving into Memphis, Tennessee. Unlike Chicago, the state of Tennessee is Republican and happy to send federal troops to Memphis, even though Memphis is a Democratic city. I want to show you now a number of videos that I grabbed for you to see. Yeah, the Oklahoma thing was shocking. That's really good. Very, very good. Let me find you some of these videos now. Okay, first of all, Mike, what's his face? Oh, I keep forgetting his name. Oh my God. Is Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, Republican, got excoriated today on C-SPAN. C-SPAN is kind of a public broadcasting TV kind of ish thing. And typically it's very boring. His staff let him go on to talk about the shutdown. So he went on. Typically it's very boring. It wasn't boring today. This was Mike Johnson today. I'm actually going to play the entire clip.
Virginia, Samantha, you're on with Speaker Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. So my question or comments are related to what you said yesterday about not being open to pass any legislation to ensure that military gets paid. I'm sure you can tell by my voice I'm very shaky. Just want you to hear a little.
The issue is the military isn't getting paid during the shutdown, and he's not being very helpful about it, about making sure they get paid.
About my family. I have two medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves his country. He suffers from PTSD from his 2 tours in Afghanistan. If we see a lapse in pay come the 15th, my children do not get the medication that's needed for them to live their life, because we live paycheck to paycheck. I heard you earlier say that you side with President Trump on anything that he says. Well, I just read an article this morning that said he absolutely wholeheartedly believes that there needs to be legislation put in so that we do not miss a paycheck. You have the power to do that. And as a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you, because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay regularly. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
All right. On the Republican line,
because
Virginia,
he's making almost $200,000 a year, which is why she brought it up. She said, the audacity of you making $200,000 a year and telling my family we don't get paid. That was good. That was very good. I mean, that was about as good as you get. So that was one very good video today. Kristi Noem did 2 crazy videos today. She's the Homeland Security Secretary. I'm going to play each one. One of them is just funny, and the other one is terrifying. But let me play both of these. Hang on. Oops.
I was in Portland yesterday and had the chance to visit with the governor of Oregon and also the mayor. They're in town, and they are absolutely covering up the terrorism that is hitting their streets. These leaders in these local cities, along with Pritzker and Johnson, ignore what's going on, or sure, they're helping Antifa cover it up.
So that's important. That's important. First of all, she says, I was in Portland, and the news media and the local government officials are all covering up how bad it is. Well, maybe if it were a terrorist zone that was worse than Afghanistan, don't you think we'd have seen this on TV? Everyone's got cameras. She has brought all the Republican influencers with her, all the crazy lunatic MAGA people with their cameras, all the kids, she brought them with. So they're all filming. She's got cameras everywhere she goes. Why didn't her cameras get video? And she loves it. This woman with the eyelashes and the hair extensions, she takes cameras everywhere she goes. They had cameras in Portland. We saw the cameras. If there's terrorism everywhere, why aren't her cameras showing it? Right? Also important, though, listen to what she said. These are terrorists protesting in Portland, literal terrorists, and the governor and mayor of Oregon and Illinois, because she says Chicago too. The governor and mayor of Oregon and Illinois are aiding and abetting the terrorism, she said. In other words, they're terrorists too. This is important because these guys are going to go after them. I mean, he talked about jailing the governor of Oregon, the governor of Illinois, and the mayor of Chicago. They will. Take Trump at his word. Trump said they need to be imprisoned. They will be. He will try that. She is setting up the legal argument for why they're going to arrest these guys, because they're literally terrorists themselves, she's claiming. Okay. Stephen Miller, of course, went so far as to literally call them all terrorists. Let me pull the Stephen Miller one.
Well, look, I hate to say it, Sean, but
He doesn't hate to say it because he's a fascist. This is Trump's wannabe German in the White House. He's the one orchestrating this entire fascist policy.
well, look, I hate to say it, Sean, but Democrat leaders are siding with the domestic terrorists. Antifa is waging, as I explained in that clip you played, daily violent assault against ICE officers. They are attempting to physically prevent ICE officers from doing their jobs.
Okay, you're allowed to do that. It might be a crime and you'll get arrested, but you're allowed to physically prevent them from doing their job like the priest did, like the preacher did, by standing in the driveway. I mean, you'll get arrested. It's civil disobedience, but you're not a terrorist because you practice civil disobedience. Okay? Martin Luther King, the most famous civil rights leader in American history, was not a terrorist because he practiced civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is you simply, for example, you just lay down and say no, and you lay down in their way and you make them arrest you, right? That is a tried and true, respected civil rights tactic. Absolutely, positively. Now, again, they'll arrest you for it, yes, right? But to suggest they're terrorists because they're impeding them from doing their job, yeah, that is again a tried and true civil rights tactic.
Using every means imaginable, including, of course, as we saw just a few weeks ago, attempted murder. And then we saw a few days ago another attempted murder through a vehicle ramming attack. It is unceasing, day after day, night after night.
Well, actually, wait a minute. He said there was one case 3 weeks ago and there was another one a week ago. It's unceasing day and night every day. Well, no, you had to go back 3 weeks to find an example. And then the other example was a week ago or 5 days ago. So which one is it? Are there only 2 examples in the last month that were people trying to hurt ICE people? Or is it unceasing every day, morning and night, right?
Was explained to the event in the White House today, are trying to kill ICE officers, attack ICE officers, threaten their families, dox them, and do everything in their power to try to prevent Immigration and Customs Enforcement from getting criminal aliens out of the...
Yeah. Anyway, we're not playing more of him. Kristi Noem, though, had a funny thing to say. Listen to this.
We arrested recently in Portland.
Oh, hold on. This one, listen to this one is fabulous, actually.
Recently in Portland.
Okay. We arrested recently in Portland. Oh, thank you for the monkey. Who was that? Chaz?
We arrested recently in Portland was the girlfriend of one of the founders of Antifa, and that we are hoping that as we go after her, interview her, and prosecute her, we will get more and more information about the network and how we can root them out and eliminate them from the existence of American society. I want to thank the
Wait, first of all, they arrested the girlfriend of the founder of Antifa. Antifa doesn't exist. So good luck arresting the girlfriend of the founder. Okay? Good luck with that. We arrested the girlfriend of the founder of Antifa. Second of all, notice the little Nazi language she just threw in there about ceasing to exist. Hold on. Thank you for the hat and mustache there, William. One sec here.
Them out and eliminate them from the existence of American society. I want to thank...
They're going to eliminate them from the existence of American society? Oh, because that doesn't sound, murderous or violent at all, does it? Hold on.
Journalists here today for telling their stories, cover what's happening here in America. It is doing to our country and how this not really focused on what this is and what damage it is doing to our country, and how this network of Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13, as TDA, as ISIS, as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as all of them. They are just as dangerous. They have an agenda to destroy us, just like the other terrorists we've dealt with for many, many years. And today is the day that we have a president.
She just claimed that the protesters in Portland, and apparently Chicago too, like the Chicago ones you don't even think the Chicago ones you don't even see. are just as dangerous as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. The U.S. government is claiming that Democratic protesters are just as dangerous as ISIS and Al-Qaeda. She is Trump's secretary in charge of all of this. She ain't some small person. American citizens protesting are just as dangerous, and most of them peacefully, by the way. I mean, we saw yesterday. I want to show you the just as dangerous as Al-Qaeda. Let me show you who she's talking about, who's just as dangerous as Al-Qaeda here, okay? This is just as dangerous as Al-Qaeda. This, I believe, was Portland. Yeah. Okay. That's the dangerous terrorists in Portland. You guys can see. That would be a dinosaur, a unicorn, and I can't tell, and a raccoon. Yes, that would be a dinosaur, a unicorn, and a raccoon. Okay. That's who is more as dangerous as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Okay. I mean, folks, the thing is, it's not funny because this is dangerous as hell. I mean, again, this is, we don't have the words for this. This is Germany 1930s. We are in it. We were in the early 1930s. I don't know if we're at 1936 or where we are at this point. We were always around 1933, 1934. We just advanced several years here as far as the threat to our democracy. These people don't believe in our democracy. They want to talk about who the terrorists are. Let's talk about who the terrorists are, right? Because I got news for you. The terrorists aren't the people in Portland, and they aren't the people in Chicago. That's for sure. I mean, this is, again, it's not just stupid. It is incredibly dangerous. She is using the language of violence, guys. If she's claiming these people on the streets of Portland protesting are as dangerous as ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they're going to treat them that way. You know what they do to ISIS and Al-Qaeda terrorists, okay? They don't take them alive. This is incredibly dangerous, what she is saying. That's why I'm saying, like, when I say take them at their word, I know all of you do, but we've got to go one step deeper with taking them at their word. She is dehumanizing them to a level. And she's not saying they're like terrorists. She said they literally are terrorists. She's not saying they're like Al-Qaeda. She said literally they're as dangerous as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. If they're as dangerous as Al-Qaeda and ISIS, she claims, then they're going to do violence to these people. And most of these people, as Stephen Miller said, they had 2 incidents of violence by protesters. One, some crazy woman that ran. And frankly, if you ran your car into the ICE people on purpose, you're a little crazy. As far as I'm concerned, you're a little bit of a nut job if you did that. And the other one, somebody opened fire. By the way, have you noticed? We don't hear anymore about the person who opened fire on the ICE headquarters in Texas. Remember that? Remember how we heard, oh my God, right? Oh, thank you for the Elton John glasses, Melanie. Why is it for 3 weeks now? If this was some Antifa person or a Democrat even, why wouldn't we be hearing about it? Wouldn't they be talking about it all? I mean, they mention it. Oh, that shooting 3 weeks ago, terrorists, right? Why aren't they giving us any details? Because if it were frankly, just like the Charlie Kirk shooter, had they proof that he was a Democrat, they would have told us. They didn't have the proof. Had they proof that this was some domestic Antifa terrorist, they would have given it to us immediately, and it would be on every TV show and every speech. They don't have the proof. Dangerous as hell. I've got that. I think I've got all my videos that I wanted to show you all. Let me just look really quick. And then there's more news, obviously. And the Israel stuff we're going to talk about, obviously, the Middle East in a second. Oh, Chicago. Chicago had massive protests last night. This was great. Just Michigan Avenue and
I'm walking through downtown
MSNBC.
Chicago right now. There are hundreds, if not thousands of people out here.
This was MSNBC.
And, they're not happy about what's happening on the streets of Chicago. Armed federal law enforcement, not just those National Guard troops from Texas, but the Border Patrol, ICE, other federal agencies on the streets of Chicago taking people indiscriminately off the streets.
It was really, anyway, very, very nice protest in Chicago. Peaceful. Thank you. I think that's, yeah. I think that's all I've got for the videos. That's all I've got for the videos. Oh, was there a goat? Was there a goat? I missed a galaxy. We'll scroll back and and thank you for the birthday cake as well. We will find it. Hang on. Let's scroll back. I'm going to try to look. Oh, there. Galaxy was Chaz. Oh, thank you, Chaz. That was Chaz. Did Chaz say what kind of goat he wants? You get to pick the goat you want. You get the large goat, you get the small goat, or the Halloween goat, which, of course, the small and the large scream the same. Whereas the Halloween one, of course, has the wonderful Halloween, which is a personal favorite. Where's the, there's the large. I will show everybody. Oops. Oh, God, his feet got stuck on something. Jeez, what the hell was that? That's the large. You want Halloween? Okay, that's the large, just to show people. Oh, thank you for that crab always creeps me out. That's the large. That's the small. And this is the Halloween, which, of course, we do love the Halloween. Always, this will be our Halloween fascism goat. To warn us about the impending dictatorship. I know I do need to make a UN list, although I'm not really sure. I have to think of more stories. I have to sort of think of those. What else we got? So the Middle East peace stuff. Let's see. The Israeli Knesset is voting right now, or I should say, not even the Knesset. I believe it's the Israeli cabinet. Thank you, Amy, for the gift. The bubbles, music bubbles. The Israeli cabinet is voting on the peace proposal, or it's actually a ceasefire. Ceasefire, if agreed to, I believe within 24 hours, they start exchanging prisoners. There's something like 48, people and bodies that Hamas is holding. Maybe 24, 28 are alive. The other 20 are dead. They were holding the bodies as hostages. Kind of creepy. Hamas was, but and then we see what happens next. Trump and his people are going, Nobel Prize, Nobel Prize. Well, Stalin didn't get a Nobel Prize for helping in World War II because he was a mass murderer. I sincerely hope the Norwegian, it's too late for this year, but for next year, I sincerely hope the Norwegians, do not, you all know this, right? A guy who changes the Department of Defense to the Department of War, a guy who threatens to go to war with Denmark to steal Greenland, a guy who threatened to invade Panama to take the canal, a guy who bombed, I'm all for going after Iran, but nonetheless, I don't get a Nobel Prize for bombing Iran, right? A guy who bombed Iran and basically could have started a whole Middle Eastern war, you don't get the Nobel Peace Prize for that. A guy who arrests small half-naked children and zip ties their hands does not get a Nobel Peace Prize. The man who is single-handedly ending democracy in America, is rescinding the U.S. Constitution and implementing a fascist state, does not get a Nobel Peace Prize. Again, the broken clock looks like maybe he did something right, which is great. Illinois got the TRO. I'm looking at the update right now. Judge Perry said she has concerns about some of the information submitted by federal officers, citing other recent cases. Somebody just said they got the TRO. They got the temporary restraining order. Oh, yeah. The judge in Chicago said she plans to partially grant a request to temporarily block National Guard deployments in Illinois, but she has not yet spelled out the specifics of that decision and has not yet entered an order. Okay, so we're still waiting to see. Judge Perry said, this is Illinois. Judge Perry said she has concerns about some of the information submitted by federal officials in the Chicago case. Thank you, Poppy. In the Chicago case, citing other recent cases where the Department of Homeland Security's actions or versions of events had been called into question. She said there was growing evidence that Department of Homeland Security's perception of events are simply unreliable. Sasha, no. She thinks she's going out again. I'm like, I'm just not letting you out there to eat more plants. It's not happening. Okay. We still need to see more of the latest here, but that's good. That's good. Has her order itself come out yet? I'm trying to update my Twitter as well. 1 second here. We're spending even more money on Argentina now. Of course we are. So where is the Hold on. Oh, this is hilarious. Norway braces for Trump's reaction if he doesn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. U.S. president may impose tariffs, demand higher NATO contributions, or even declare Norway an enemy, analysts say. I mean, they're not wrong. The thing is, first of all, he wouldn't get it tomorrow for something that happened today. This deal got announced last night. The Peace Prize gets announced tomorrow morning. There's no time. Like, you've got to get the nominations in by January. This would be for next year's Peace Prize. I do hope, by the way, nonetheless, I hope he thinks, because he's not very bright. He's not bright at all. He's also psychologically damaged, but he's not very bright. And he's going to actually, you know what we need to do? You know what we need to do? Because again, everybody says the way you take down dictators is you laugh at them. Stephen Miller, I've been doing it on Twitter too. Everyone's been joking about Stephen Miller, the German guy in the White House, being 4'10". 4'10" in centimeters is very short. Like, I'm trying to think. I'm 177 centimeters, I think. 4'10" would be this much less than 177 centimeters. If somebody wants to do the math on that, 4'10". Okay, it would be this much less than 177. So would that be, it's a foot. Yeah, what is a foot? A foot is 25 centimeters, right? So you're right, it would be 152 maybe. I'm going to go with 152 centimeters, more or less, ish. So he's short. This was interesting too. The stuff online, by the way, I love Damien. The stuff online said that Stephen Miller is, we don't know his height, but he's probably 5'10", which is my height, 177 centimeters. Damien was over the other day, and Damien goes, he's not 5'10". Damien goes, I'm 5'10" and a half, or 5'11". He goes, Stephen, because I was at an event, because Damien caters. He goes, I was at an event with Stephen Miller. He said, Stephen Miller was like this on me. He says, and Damien's like, he goes, I'm 5'10" and a half, which is, again, 178 centimeters. He goes, Miller is about here, which means he's probably 5'4". He's short. He's small. Well, the reason we make fun of him being small is because Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's, very to the left. She's more to the left than me, but she's an amazing messenger. And she has been making fun of him for being short. And she even said something like, well, you've got to understand he's always angry because he's 4'10". He's not, 4'10" is literally like this, like this big. I mean, it's hilarious. But she got everybody to start saying this. So I've now been making fun of him. Everybody needs to just call him 4'10". Everyone needs to call him 4'10" now. I did it too. Anyway, it's been very funny, but I love this. Oh, the other thing I was going to say though is what we need to do tomorrow when Trump doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, we all need to make fun of it because he's so dumb. He doesn't realize it takes a year for this, right? If he were even up for the Nobel, it would be next year. They picked the winner at least a while ago. The nominations closed in January. The nominations closed 10 months ago. He can't get it now. What happened now in Israel is for next year's prize to consider. Trump's not smart enough to understand that. When he doesn't get the prize tomorrow, every single one of us needs to laugh and make fun of him that he didn't get the prize. I just thought about that. We all have got to make fun of him. Because but Norway, I love this though. Norway is bracing itself. I mean, it's unfortunate because it's totally true. It's totally true, right? Is he going to invade? Is he going to put tariffs? He will. He will. But we need to just make fun of him left and right tomorrow. So did we get any more on the temporary restraining order? I don't think so. I don't think we've got the rest of the temporary restraining order yet. Chicago Tribune. Here we go. Chicago Tribune should have the latest, hopefully. The article. I'm reading the New York Times. Hang on here. A federal judge in Chicago blocked the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to the city as part of its ongoing immigration enforcement push, saying she had no faith in the government's claims of out-of-control violence and that it was federal agents who started it by aggressively targeting protesters with tear gas and militaristic tactics. Oh, that's good. And she's right. They're the ones causing it. The ruling is the latest setback for Trump, who has claimed ongoing violence, blah, blah, blah. The temporary restraining order issued by Perry bars the president from deploying federalized National Guard troops from any state to any location in Illinois. A written ruling will be issued Friday. In her oral ruling, she said the National Guard troops are not trained in de-escalation or other extremely important law enforcement functions that would help to quell these problems, and that allowing troops to come into Chicago will only add fuel to the fire that the defendants themselves have started, that the government started the fighting. The judge also said the Trump administration's attempts to paint protesters as violent rebels cannot be aligned with the view of local officials. Perry said she had no faith in the declaration of federal officials submitted to the court, due in large part of a growing body of evidence that the Department of Homeland Security's views are simply unreliable because they're lying. Again, these are criminal government. Our government's criminal at this point, and they're lying about what's going on in order to do illegal things. Perry cited several assault cases that had been dismissed against protesters. That's true too. And other orders from federal judges in Chicago. In the last 48 hours, this was interesting. In the last 48 hours, in 4 separate unrelated legal decisions from different neutral parties, they all cast significant doubt on Department of Homeland Security's assessment of what is happening. What she means is Homeland Security keeps going after protesters and saying, they were violent, we're charging them, and then the charges get dropped because the grand jury refuses to indict. So she says 4 different unrelated incidents in the last 48 hours where Homeland Security alleged that these protesters were violent, and they lied. They basically lied, and they got caught lying. So she says, I don't believe you anymore. And A, I don't believe you because you're caught lying. And B, the city and the state keep telling us there's no violence. Like, not the kind of violence you're talking about. Perry also said a rebellion is defined as a deliberate, organized resistance openly opposing the laws and government as a whole by means of armed violence. I have found no credible evidence that there is a danger of a rebellion. That's it too. They're not trying to overthrow the government, and they're not doing it violently. They're trying to stop one agency that, frankly, has become fascist. I mean, I was not really a critic of ICE before when everyone wanted to eliminate ICE. Now, forget it. Now, we need something to replace it with eventually, but this organization needs to be ripped to shreds at this point. And frankly, anybody who works there needs to get the 3rd degree to see if they were a party to any of these human rights violations. This is good. This is very good. Wow. Now, it's going to go to an appeals court, and good luck seeing what the appeals court does, frankly. I worry the appeals court is just going to agree with Trump, because it seems that the appeals courts there's almost nothing these people aren't willing to let Trump get away with, which is very scary. But that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. We also need to file briefs against these charges against these lawyers with their local bar exams too, their local bars, to get them disbarred from the states they're in. That's good. I mean, again, I still think she's going to get overturned on appeal because they all seem to, but that's still pretty good. That was still pretty good. Let me see what else we got here. We got the Speaker Johnson thing. Oh, Trump claimed today that there's no crime. There's no more crime in D.C. In only 13 days, we got rid of all the crime. There were 2 deadly shootings last weekend of the crime that he got rid of. Oh, God. Do I have this? Hang on. RFK. Hang on. There's another video that's insane. Here we go. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talking about the linkage between Tylenol and autism. Okay? His fake linkage.
Studies that show the countries that use the highest level of autism. Cuba has the lowest level in the world of acetaminophen use, and it has the lowest autism rate in the world. So this is not dispositive. It is not a proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof.
Okay, he just said he's talking about autism, and he thinks autism is caused by Tylenol, and this is not dispositive. This is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof, he said. And all the scientists out there went, you don't do studies to make the proof. That isn't why you do studies. And you don't reach the conclusion before the study and then do the study to make the proof. The other crazy shit he came out with today, I should have grabbed that video. He's claiming that there's a connection between autism and male circumcision. I mean, guys, he's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. He said, well, in Israel, they have less autism. And you know what they do in Israel? They have, I think he said, less circumcision. Although actually they have more circumcision, I think. But he tried to claim, this is his claim. When you circumcise a young boy, the parents give the boy Tylenol, and Tylenol causes autism. So that's why he thinks circumcision, the rate of circumcision in countries is linked to autism. This is total bullshit. Total bullshit. As he said, I don't have proof, but I'm going to make the proof by doing studies. He's insane, guys. I mean, you know what? And again, it's funny, but it's not funny. As we're seeing with Trump's fascist takeover of our government, his rescission of democracy in our country, when you elect people that are unqualified, well, frankly, criminal in Trump's case, Trump is criminal, but he's also incredibly unqualified and psychologically deficient and mentally deficient as well, but he's also just incredibly unqualified. When you elect people that are unqualified, this is what you get. This is what you get, right? You get incredibly unqualified Health and Human Services Secretary like Robert F. Kennedy, right? I mean, absolutely. You want more water, really? Well, she waited until 7 o'clock. 1 second. I will give you that you did wait until 7 o'clock, but you're still annoying me. Still annoying me a little bit here. There. Yeah. I mean, unbelievable, yet so believable. Oh, this was great too. So the media is reporting today that every Defense Department employee has been instructed to certify in writing that they watched Hegseth's entire speech to the generals last week. Remember his crazy speech to the generals about masculinity and showers and shaving? He's requiring all the Defense Department employees to watch it and certify in writing that they watched it. No, not fascist at all. Not to mention, not just not fascist, but could you be any more childish in terms of what you require, right? You're making everybody up. Thank you for that, Cynthia. That's a very nice gift, actually. I know that. Thank you. Unbelievable. All right, let's move on. A little bit of Ukraine news. Russian strikes reportedly cut over half of Ukraine's gas production ahead of the winter. Russia is going after all of Ukraine's energy this winter to try to make them suffer especially hard. This is interesting. The Russian-owned oil company in Serbia lost its U.S. sanctions exemption. They had an exemption from U.S. sanctions. The U.S. didn't renew the exemption. Serbia's largest Russian-owned oil company announced today that it had not received an extension of its U.S. sanctions waiver. That means the Trump people are playing hardball with the Russians, which is very good news. Very interesting, but very good news. Finally, the European Parliament calls for readiness to shoot down Russian aircraft and drones over member states' territory. The resolution passed with 469 votes in favor, 97 against, 38 abstentions. Basically, overwhelming support in the European Parliament for shooting down Russian planes and drones that illegally enter European territory. So that's good news too. Oh my God. Oh God, it's already 7 o'clock. Jesus Christ. It's funny. I didn't feel like that was a lot of news, but as we got close, a lot of it was happening in the last hour. And as we got closer, I was starting to be like, oh God, here we go. Oh, guys, I'm telling you, this is very scary stuff. This is very scary stuff. Keep the gifts coming, please. You know, I do this for a living. You're not going out there. No. You were just out there. You ate plants. No. I swear to God, every day she gets older and every day she gets more annoying. I love her, but she's so damn annoying. That's right. Go sit down. Here, go lay down. All right. Thank you. Hey, seriously? Oh my God. She goes to get into her bed and there's little pieces of leaf she brought in and she goes to try to eat the leaf. And I caught her. You're unbelievable. Literally, the leaf is sitting there and she opens her mouth and goes on it while she's going to bed. Oh, you are absolutely terrible. Oh my God. Thank you, Colleen. Dear God. Well, the thing is, again, years ago, she got deathly ill. I'm talking to the tune of $5,000 ill like could have died at the animal hospital because she ate something that made her sick and it was bad. 5 days at the animal hospital. Friendship, if anybody knows DC, $1,000 a day. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So like that also freaks me out. But Jesus Christ, I mean, and again, and her weight, I just weighed her. Her weight is fine. Her weight is perfect. I'm going to do it again. Thank you for the caterpillar, Addie. I'm going to weigh her again just to be safe, but her weight is fine. Oh my God, this dog. Anyway, so yes, things are very bad. Things are very dangerous. You know, I would say to some degree too, you guys need to start talking to your own governments too. I don't think, unfortunately, any of your governments have the backbone to do anything. But, you know, generally speaking, supposedly, you aren't really thrilled about authoritarian governments in Europe, supposedly, right? You don't like governments that crack down on civil liberties. You're letting him get, not you, but your governments are letting him get away with this because he scares them. And I get that he scares them economically and militarily, but I kind of feel like, you know, as a bloc, why believe in civil liberties and the rule of law if you're not going to defend them? You know, I really mean it. I think at some point, even if it's the left wing at this point that starts talking this way, somebody needs to start talking and saying, we need to speak out as a bloc about this because we don't, generally speaking, you know, tolerate this kind of behavior, what Trump is doing. And when it's other countries, we don't tolerate it. But because it's Trump, we're letting him get away with it. You know? Oh man. Your governor refused to deploy National Guard in any city within Ohio? Is that true, Noah? Isn't Ohio still a Republican? It's not what's his face. Still, what's his name, is it? Yeah, the Epstein stuff. DeWide? I doubt DeWide refused. Well, first of all, it depends what you mean by refuse. He probably didn't refuse Trump. He probably said, you know, I'm not going to deploy the National Guard. We don't need it, is my guess. Right? That's well, we can see, but I wonder about that. Anyway, unbelievable. Oh, that's what I just saw that JTA. That's cute. Very cute. Very cute. Next to his Emmy. That's cute, Manana. Oh my God. Anyway. Oh God. It's bad, guys. It's very bad. Oh, I don't want to do an apartment tour, Bree. You know, it's just kind of weird. I don't know. It feels too personal. I'm always sleepy. It just feels too personal. Yeah, I'm with you, but you know what it is? I don't feel like going, oh, here's expensive stuff I owe. Come rob me. You know, it just kind of like, I don't know. It just feels weird. The Greek passport is not coming anytime soon. So not that I have anything that expensive, but still, you know, we did talk about Letitia James at the beginning as part of our ongoing Trump assault on democracy. Good. You just voted on the California prop. Good for you, Sandy. Oh my God. We don't need to use the National Guard to enforce the laws. Right. So he's not saying no to Trump. He's just saying no in general. Thank you again, Colleen, for the gift. We don't need, in general, we don't need to do it. Am I planning to leave the country? I wasn't, but I've always thought it would be nice to retire in Europe. And now, I think everybody needs an exit plan and a safety plan for their home and their livelihood at this point. This country's going down fast. Everybody better have a plan to protect their families and also just, you know, happiness as far as the rest of your life. You know, at some point, you know, I mean, they'd like nothing better than for us to leave. And a part of me almost feels like, you know, Democrats almost could take all our money and go. I mean, they all live in the worst parts of the country. All the parts of the country that people want to live in are Democratic, you know. Take our money and go to Europe and Canada and let them, they want to live in Gilead, you go, girl. You want to wear your little red hood, you go. You see how happy you're going to be when the Democrats leaving. California leaves the union. California is like one of the biggest countries in the world on its own. Man, just horrible. These people are absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. At the very least, like I said, October 18th are the protests. I will be there. I'm going to try to broadcast. Don't know. I think the connection's not going to be good enough. I suspect it won't be, because I think there's going to be too many people trying to do Instagram and everything else. But, yeah, well, it's not easy to secede because that's kind of what happened with the Civil War. So correct. Constitution is not strong enough. Clearly, sorry. Ghost Royser asked if Trump's actions show the Constitution isn't strong enough. Correct. There is a fatal flaw in the Constitution that nobody anticipated, which was, I always compare it to our Constitution is a game of Dungeons and Dragons. It's a game of Robert's Rules of Order. It's a gentleman's agreement. We had what's on my shirt? We had a gentleman's agreement, our Constitution. And we didn't know that the only thing stopping a tyrant from taking over our country was people not realizing they could. Tyrants not realizing they could was the only thing stopping a tyrant from taking over our country. Trump realized he can. And the only thing to stop him is Congress. Well, Republicans control Congress. Oh, well. End of that, right? Oh, well. There's no other way to stop him than Congress. So, people better put the Democrats back in control of the House of Representatives next year. They better, to at least stop him there. But Jesus Christ, this is so freaking dangerous. No, people need to rise up legally. I was telling my nephew today when I was a lobbyist, or not a lobbyist, but advising people on lobbying Congress and stuff. One of the most important things I worked on Capitol Hill. I worked in the Senate. And one of the most effective ways of getting my boss's attention, a United States senator, was going up and yelling at him in public. He hated that. People would come up to him in the airport. Somebody came up to the airport and yelled at him. He goes, "I got yelled at the airport. Why?" I'm like, "I don't know. What happened?" Literally, I'd be like, "I don't know. It was your issue." Like, okay, just because somebody yelled at you about my issue doesn't mean I did something wrong. What did they say? What were they complaining about? But he hated it. These guys, Mike Johnson today, the wife of the military guy, yelling at him on the TV show. They hate that. You've got to go to their town hall meetings and yell at them. You've got to find them in public and yell at them. Find them at their restaurants they go to and yell at them. It is legal. It is 100. Obviously, you keep it legal. They're politicians. You're allowed to go and yell at them. You don't break the law. You don't threaten them, but you can yell at them. I worked there. And I know it's happening, but it has to happen more. Like everybody who says what I can do, you can find your local official, certainly Republicans for sure. I mean, Democrats don't need to be yelled at, but Democrats need to be cajoled more, I think, right? Like I'd say Democrats need more for example, all this democracy stuff. I'm not convinced we should be passing a budget, frankly. Now, Democrats don't want to be responsible for blocking the budget, right? For shutting down the government, but we're going to finance this government, a fascist government? Really? But I think Democrats need more backbone, but Republicans need to be excoriated. They need to have happened what just happened to Speaker Johnson today on TV when this woman ripped him a new one because her family was going to be in danger because of what he was doing. Every single Republican needs to hear that. You got to pay taxes or they're going to throw you in prison, Lisa, or at least they're going to charge you thousands of dollars. Not paying taxes doesn't really help unless everybody doesn't pay taxes, and that's not going to happen, Marjorie Taylor Greene did say today, somebody said, why do they need Democrats? It's a good point. Marjorie Taylor Greene said today it's the Republicans' fault. She goes, we could have just passed the budget anyway, which they could have. They could have just said, forget it. We're no longer going to require, more than 50 votes or whatever to pass the budget, or 51. And she blamed the Republicans, which was very interesting. Switching sides. Well, not switching sides in terms of becoming a Democrat, but yes, on this whole issue overall, she's pissed at the Republicans, which is very interesting. But I think that also means her citizens, her voters are pissed about the shutdown, and she's trying to make clear she doesn't disagree with the Republicans on it. Very interesting. Very interesting. General strike If you can pull it off, yes. I just don't know that it's possible to pull off a general strike, like shutting down the whole country. I mean, I think the first thing to do is show up on the 18th, get everybody organized at some massive protest and then figure out next steps. Marjorie, I think she does see the pendulum. I think, like Michelle just said, Marjorie Taylor Greene sees the pendulum swinging. I think she clearly, Republican district, obviously, but she clearly realizes that the shutdown has been a disaster for the Republican Party. Clearly, Well, the Europeans are always better. Somebody's saying Italy. The Europeans are always better at protesting than we are. I mean, we had big protests for the Women's March, right, when Trump first got elected. Generally speaking, we're not very good at protesting, I don't think. And we're really not very good at protests that make a difference. Like even the 18th, a bunch of people show up, but to some degree, so what, right? You've got to channel it. You got to do something. Raise money for Democrats, for starters, but also I think you've got to, like I said, get people to go and yell at their Republican members of Congress, like that woman did today on C-SPAN. Give them a piece of your mind. They don't like people not like, they want to be loved. They don't like it when they're not loved. It makes them very uncomfortable. Republicans did this too, by the way. Republicans did the same strategy on Obamacare at the beginning. They sent all of their people to go yell at Democrats at the town hall meetings they would have. And they screamed at all the Democrats to freak them out. It's allowed. You're allowed to go yell at your member of Congress. You keep it safe. Obviously, you don't threaten them. You don't break the law, but you're allowed to yell at your elected official. That's allowed in the American Constitution. They could ask you to be removed. Sure, if they want, but that's why you get 100 of your friends to go too. And one by one, you yell at them and tell them you're not happy about America, about them forgetting what America stands for, about our freedoms. I mean, yeah, they just don't, but we don't do economic protests here, really. Like, for example, we don't do strikes and things. There are strikes occasionally, right? But not as protests against the lack of democracy. Thank you, Claire, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Yeah, well, I wonder if they're doing it on purpose. They're intentionally doing the protest away from the White House, closer to the Congress. And I wonder if they're not doing it on purpose. I was intrigued. I don't know. Or maybe that's just where they go. Having said that, if they're expecting a lot of people, they might need to do it. It's near the Canadian Embassy, if anybody knows, Washington, which is near the Capitol, but it allows you to expand up and down Constitution Avenue, or Pennsylvania Avenue, I should say, which, I think it's Pennsylvania. Is it Pennsylvania or Constitution? Now I'm actually forgetting. Maybe it is Constitution. Hold on. I'm forgetting here, actually. It might be Constitution. Let me see. No, it's Pennsylvania and 3rd. Yeah, it's Pennsylvania. Yeah. That's what I thought. It's Pennsylvania. Okay. Right. But that allows them to kind of fill up Pennsylvania. So I think they're intentionally doing it that way. Yep. Actually, YouTube, I forgot. I would say Discord, I made sure you had some of the emojis, but you already did. I made sure there's a couple more. YouTube, did I not give you guys the Trump taco emojis? If I didn't, I've got to go in and adjust it. I thought I did. I don't know if I did. Oh, thank you. Bubble music. Thank you, Eslyn. You do have them, Noah. Good. Okay, good. All right, I did. All right. I didn't remember doing it. I thought I hadn't. Good. I did. All righty. Although, actually, what I did do on Discord, though, is I've got to do it for you guys. So I uploaded the JD Vance with the hair meme. I did put that one on. So that's there, which will be funny. I've got to give you that one next. Anyway, does he have eyeliner on? Only his beautician knows for sure. Certainly looks like it. I hear you, Sasha. No, you can wait. Just wait. We're also not giving water every 10 minutes. That's the other thing we're not. I'm trying to strike against my dog here. Have a strike. I'm no, too much. Hey, Eric in Cancun. Nothing wrong with eyeliner. Not that there's anything wrong with it. JD Vance in drag. There is the picture of JD Vance in drag. Yeah, Street Rat found it. The emoji I put up for you guys. I do. I've got to put it up. I'll go check out my settings on Discord and TikTok. We'll see if TikTok allows it. Why not? It's a guy with funny hair. Quiet. Jeez. All right, we're going to call it quits in a minute. Well, I started late, so I'll go another couple minutes. Sasha is apricot-ish. Apricot and cream. So, yeah, that's true. Hegseth said nothing about JD Vance's eyeliner. Very true. Let me look here and see what else we've got real quick on Twitter, see if there's anything else news-wise. But that's great about Chicago, at least. I'm very glad to see that. Hang on here. Twitter. Let me see here. Interesting. Republican and Democratic senators are trading ideas on healthcare funding to forge a path out of the government shutdown. That's good. That's good. I think we're going to get our Obamacare funding, which is very important. What else we got here? Oh, this is the. Oh.
There's also there's many other confirmation studies. There's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism. And it's highly likely because they're given Tylenol. So, none of this is positive, but all of it is stuff that we should be paying attention to.
I mean, he's out of his mind. He's absolutely out of his mind. Again, this is such post hoc ergo propter hoc. It's not even funny. After it, therefore, because of it. Oh, they were circumcised and they got autism, so there must be a connection. Well, there were also a million other things that happened in childhood to this kid besides getting circumcised, or frankly, besides getting Tylenol after he got circumcised, right? I mean, it's unbelievable, the worm. It's the worm. I know, it's the worm. It's the worm. Man, unbelievable, these people. Just looking to see what else here. Oh, funny. If it's true. What's unfortunate? You don't know whether any of the little animal videos are real anymore that people share, which kind of bums me out. You know what I mean? What's happening here? What else? Just looking to see what else here. I got my COVID shot today. Flu shot and COVID shot. It was free. Woo! I'm allowed because I have asthma. But it was free, which I was very glad too. So that was good. My blow against the fascist regime, getting my COVID shot. Quiet. I'm still not seeing this. Yeah, there's no other real news I'm finding here, guys. I was just trying to see what else, if anything. It's the same thing. Oh, the White House is freaking out about U.S. troops being sent to Israel. Listen to this. Fox News, breaking. U.S. troops headed to Israel to support historic peace deal. He is. He's sending U.S. troops into harm's way in freaking Gaza. The U.S. is going to be brokering. We're going to have our troops in Gaza now with Hamas? Again, think about this, people. This is the guy that was going to get us out of all this crazy shit. The White House, Caroline Leavitt, Miss I wear a cross and I'm married to a 60-year-old guy. This is not true and taken out of context. I want you to listen to what she says. To be clear, up to 200 U.S. personnel who are already stationed at CENTCOM, okay, that means in the region, will be tasked with monitoring the peace agreement in Israel, and they will work with other international forces on the ground. Yeah. So you're sending 200 U.S. troops into harm's way to basically put their lives on the line in front of Hamas terrorists. And the only thing that's not true is, first, it's not true at all, is actually, there's nothing not true about what Fox News said. Fox News said U.S. troops headed to Israel to support historic peace deal. That is true. She's saying the troops aren't coming from the U.S. The troops are already in the region. Okay, you're taking troops in the region that are somewhere less dangerous and sending them to face off against Hamas terrorists. What is not true about this? I mean, unbelievable. I mean, now see this one I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna say, sounds like she just confirmed the Fox story. I mean, I love that. It's not true. We're sending 200 troops to be in harm's way near Hamas. Okay, that's what Fox News just said you were doing. They're still U.S. troops. You're putting them in harm's way as a buffer against freaking Hamas. Thank you. That's kind of dangerous. Thank you, Mel. I mean, these people are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, again, they're so used to lying. She's so used to lying that her response is always to say, Trump got pissed off because Fox News first of all, Trump got pissed off because the news broke that we were sending troops and no one was supposed to know. I guarantee you that's what happened. And he yelled at her and said, tell them it's not true. So she got out there and goes, it's not true. We're sending 200 troops. We're actually sending 200 troops. Okay, honey. That was a great denial there. Anyway, I love it. It's not true, but it is true. So tomorrow we have to really, 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 really make fun of Trump for not winning the what's going on here? For not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Rah, rah. Oh, wow. ICE abducted a woman picking up her kids yesterday at a high school in Chicago. Wow. Jesus.
Whoa.
She's screaming. They're trying to grab her, and she's with her kids. Of course, they're masked men, of course. How many masked men does it take? Apparently 9 to apprehend a woman picking up her kids.
Wait, you guys came to the school to do this?
Have a warrant. They haven't asked for a warrant. My name is Jocelyn from Cicero. They don't have a warrant. They didn't ask for one. They forcefully opened the door to travel. It was locked. It was locked.
They forcefully opened the door. It was locked. Wow.
You guys came to the school?
They forced us out of the car. They were following us. They were on the back.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
This is sick. Absolutely sick.
I know I'm okay, but I'm worried about other people. Oh no. They were coming to get their kids?
And by the way, her kids now are abandoned.
Like, what? Were they coming to get a child?
Yeah, her kids are now abandoned, by the way. I mean, who's picking up her kids from school? Nobody. Who's picking up her kids? Nobody. Who's taking care of the kids when they get home? Nobody. They picked up a woman. ICE went, stormed the car of a woman who was picking up her kids from school. Her car was locked. They broke the car open and dragged her out of the car. No warrant. No warrant at all, by the way. You need a warrant to bust into someone's car and grab them. No warrant. She was Latino. And we are letting this happen. Bumblebee said, how can you all let this happen? We are letting this happen. We really are. Because we're all, I mean, I don't know what to do to some degree, but we're all sitting here freaking out and watching it get worse. I mean, I'm going to sort of close with this, but and the Europeans may or may not be aware of this. One of the things you grow up with as an American is looking at the history of World War II and saying, how did the Germans let that happen? Especially Germany, other countries too, other horrible things in history for sure. But Germany especially, actually, maybe Europeans say that too, I don't know. But we say, how did the Germans let that happen? And also, people even say it about the Jews too, by the way. They also say, how did the Jews let it happen? Meaning, you saw them coming. This is the line. You saw them coming for you. How did you not organize? This kind of crap, right? But the same thing with the Germans. You saw your government becoming more evil. How did you not rise up? This is how you not rise up. This is how you not rise up. You sit here and you freak out and you don't know what to do. And meanwhile, they turn the temperature up. They turn the temperature up. They turn the temperature up. They commit more crimes. They commit more crimes. They take away your freedoms. They call you terrorists. And you sit there and you go, and again, I'm not necessarily the expert on this, but somebody in the Democratic Party is. Somebody on not just the left, the middle is. And I feel like we need more guidance on what the hell because I'm getting pissed too. We need more guidance on what the hell we're supposed to do at this point, because I don't know. Other than I am trying to speak out to bear witness, at least to say this, stop, to say this isn't normal. This isn't okay. This is fascism. This is an attempt to steal our Constitution from us and to steal our way of life. This is an authoritarian dictatorial government, and this is fascism. This is McCarthyism. It is as dangerous as it gets, and they are a dangerous, violent government. Absolutely, positively. We've got to keep saying that because that alone is helpful. But we've also got to figure out, how to rally against them. Anyway, October 18th, folks. Google it. No kings. All right. I'm going to head off, guys. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate the gifts. But man, oh man, I'm not going anywhere yet. I don't have a Greek passport yet anyway, but I'm not going anywhere yet. These guys aren't getting rid of me yet. That's for sure. As long as I can broadcast, I'm going to keep broadcasting. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining us today. All right. Discord. I'm going to go first. There we go. All right. Bye, Discord. All right. TikTok, or I should say YouTube, you're next, and then TikTok. All right. To YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow, 6:00 Eastern. All right. Good night, guys.